Everybody, and welcome back to Georgia Living. I'm your co-host, Chris Evans.
Céline Evans.
Here, my beautiful bride. And we are just getting back from Thanksgiving holiday. So
Japan.
Yes, in Japan. Not me. No. Only half, my better half, got to go and take our youngest daughter. We'll get into that in just a sec. But we're kind of all getting back into the groove. So as we're in this episode, we've got a lot of local news to share with you. So stay tuned. There's some big things happening and some big changes happening around here. But not only that, we're going to talk about what's going on with our family. And we've got the local real estate update because we just got November's numbers. So we're going to talk about that a little later in the show as well.
Or non-update.
Or non-update, but there's some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, please like and share the show. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, please subscribe and leave us a review so that you can help other people in the community find us. If you're on YouTube watching my beautiful bride right here, then feel free to subscribe and ring that little bell so you get notified when we post a new episode. This is a passion project of ours. We do it because we want to stay informed and keep our community informed, but also talk about, a little bit about what makes East Cobb home for us in Cobb County in general.
I don't know of other East Cobb podcasts that actually talks about our community, so we might be the only ones. Who knows? I
don't know, but either way, we're Georgia Living, and we're glad that you're here with us today. So, Céline, let's talk about Japan. Tell us, what was the purpose of the trip?
So the purpose of the trip was to take photos with my child and get dressed up because she is a quarter and...
A quarter Japanese.
Yes, that. And so to show her the culture, and she got the cutest photos done.
She did.
She got her makeup done, her hair done. She looked like a little princess walking around. We got professional photos. So I think she's going to really cherish that because it's not about the stuff. It's about the memories, right?
Yeah, it's the stuff. The stuff goes.
Yeah.
But the memories and the accomplishment and the pride, that can stay forever.
Yeah. And we basically ate our way through Japan.
Did you?
Ate our way through it because I'm okay. There was one food that I found that I did not like.
What was that?
Out of the entire 14 days. And it was at a supermarket. And it was a random item that was in the bakery section. Think about all the foods that I've encountered, all the options, every single thing that's come out for every meal. And all of that, one.
Really?
That I did not like.
All right, what was it?
It was what looked like a hot dog bun, and then cream, like the whipped cream kind, but the real cream.
Okay.
Well, maybe it wasn't real because it was shelf stable-ish.
Okay,
that day.
Hot dog bun with whipped cream?
In the middle of it instead of the hot dog. And then the whole thing was dipped in chocolate like an ice cream cone. The hard shell on outside. So we all looked at it, and I bought it because it was so different, right?
Out there, right?
I was like, okay, well, we're on vacation. We get to try whatever we want. This is one that looked very strange. And I was like, you know what? I gotta, not be prude about this. I gotta actually try it before I...
Just doing an open mind thing.
Yeah. No, it was so gross.
Was it like an actual hot dog bun? It wasn't... Okay, I could see doing that if the bun wasn't like a hot dog bun, like if it was a donut or if it was like another confectionery sweet, right?
I think it was a different type of bread making the hot dog bun, but for me it was a hot dog bun. Gotcha. Right? I mean, like the slit and everything. So Claire and I stared at it and we both dared each other to try it at the same time. We had one bite and then it went straight into the trash.
Oh,
so think about the percentage of all the things that we've eaten.
That's so rare for Japan to have anything like that. But, at least if it's going to be something you don't like, it's like a gas station snack.
It was like a one-off, somebody tried to be creative. And this wasn't even in the big city. This was like a mountain town. Barely anybody went there. I just happened to go to the local grocery store, which is not even visited by tourists. Mm-hmm. I mean, that obscure, right? So
right.
The percentage-wise, everything else was 100% amazing. I ate my way through it.
Nice.
I ate so much seafood that we don't get. That's the one thing about Georgia that makes me so sad, is that we do not have fresh seafood. And the freshness is the one that is just, oh, so good.
Well, that's why we go to Alaska every year and come back with our haul of salmon and halibut and that stuff.
Yes, which I want to eat tonight, too. So.
Oh, well, we could take some out.
Yay!
So the trip was a success. Now, you mentioned you were going there to get photos taken.
Yeah.
Was there anything significant, like culturally? Why getting photos done?
You know, if I explain it in English, it just sounds so terrible. But way back when, even in America, right, kids died all the time because of disease and malnutrition and stuff like that. I mean, ooh, geez.
They're not infanticide, but like you had malnutrition. You had.
You're going somewhere dark there.
Not what I meant by that.
No.
But you didn't have the medical care that you had today, right? Families had a lot of kids because of the natural attrition and loss of life that just occurred we're talking pioneer days, y'all, like 1800s.
But it's really not that long ago if you think about it.
It's 100 years.
This was a worldwide thing, right? People had a lot of big families because globalization wasn't around. You know, the healthcare system wasn't as advanced as it is today.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were isolated as well. I mean, I went to the mountain towns of Japan, and looking around, I'm like, how did anyone traverse this terrain to get out of this town or even into this town? It was that bad. We're talking about 2 kilometers of tunnels just to get to this place. So significant travel barriers to get in and out, which kind of is nice though, because it preserved the culture as well. The other stuff didn't come in and take it over, like industrialization. So there are pockets of those small mountain towns that are like our historical, you know, Williamsburg. Yeah. That was kind of preserved that way. So anyways, I have so much to talk about. It's 14 days all across Japan. From one side Tokyo to the other side Sea of Japan, so much. But
because kids were, you know, back then you had that high level of mortality, you celebrated milestones.
Yeah, I know. I'm really trying not to say this, but basically, it was a thank you for not dying ceremony where you go to a temple and say, "Thanks God, I didn't die. We're going to celebrate this milestone."
It's a celebration of life.
Shichigo-san literally means 753. And it depends on whether you're a boy or a girl. And when you go to the temple or the shrine, it's actually a shrine, to say thank you. And so girls, it is 3 and 7. Boys, it's 5, from what I understand. And I've been told. And so they're 7, and we picked 7 because they're old enough to remember. You know, we live here, so it's significant time and energy to go over there and, you know, take time off of work to do that as well. So 7 seemed like the best number for us. And we went, got dressed up, took photos, and said, thank you for not letting us die. It just sounds so morbid.
Well, it's a celebration of life for the kids.
It's a ceremony, you know, that's, well, not even a ceremony, but it's a thing that's been around for a very, very long time, and it's part of the culture there. So I think we're so young of a nation, and we changed to, you know, industrialization very quickly, because 1776 to the late 1800s industrialization, that's not very long, right? So we didn't have the time to establish a ceremony or a, you know, type of cultural thing to, you know, appreciate that. That's just my theory on why we don't have anything so kind of, what sounds
makes
obscure.
Sense. I mean, we're relatively young as a country. By the time people got here, they weren't focused on, you know, celebrating life. They were focused on creating survival, right? And and living, and then getting land, building things. So,
but it was rough going too here.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Roanoke. Jamestown.
I don't think anybody in the 17 or 1800s had it easy.
No.
So,
I mean, they're excavating stuff at Jamestown and finding all this stuff, right? So it's the same story anywhere.
But as a father, it is just a real big sense of pride that we're able to give these experiences to our daughters. They both went over there. Our son went over when he was 5. Both of our daughters went over when they were 7. They all got dressed up. They got their photos taken. It's a very big cultural immersion for them. So we're just glad that we're able to allow the experience and the opportunity for them to expand their horizons, see the world outside of just what it is here.
Yes.
And to carry those memories with them.
Yeah.
But that's not all. Now you're back, and we're in full holiday mode.
Yeah. So what's funny is that in Japan, they don't have Thanksgiving. Well, obviously in Canada too. So it's very America specific, and obviously. So they start decorating for Christmas, to much of the chagrin of Americans, right after Halloween.
Yeah, that's about right. Well, I mean, think about it. A lot of the decorations start coming out here in retail stores right around then, too.
Yes, but we always have that, push and shove of, can you please wait until Thanksgiving is over, done, right? I mean, You've heard that argument so much, but over there is no Thanksgiving blocking that time. So it's Christmas everywhere. And to where I, as an American citizen, I went over there and I was just like, oh my gosh, why is it so early? Oh yeah, there's no Thanksgiving, to kind of separate those 2 months in between.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But it's beautiful because they have much more time to display this stuff, and they can do lights. Oh, it's gorgeous.
They really can.
Yes.
I got a chance to go there a long time ago, back in 2015 or 2005. Wow. And everything is lit up, and it's gorgeous. So
Tokyo Tower was a Christmas tree.
If you ever get
lights.
to go there, it's a wonderful time of the year to go. But we started doing...
There is one thing, though, that I did not like.
What's that?
Outside of that one hot dog bun. I am used to central air conditioning and heating. They do not have that. And so I remember when I stayed there younger, during a summer, it was really, really hot. And I'm talking about the hottest month of the year, Georgia-wise, right? They have one there too. It's called Suyu. And same thing, opposite problem, winter and summer. It's either dang hot or not. Everywhere I went, it was too hot because they would crank up the heat, and I am pushing my dad around in a wheelchair because he has some blood problems right now because of Agent Orange, and I'm already hot, right, walking around, and then I go into wherever we're going, say it's a restaurant or whatever, and the heat is blasting, and I'm just dying everywhere. The train seats, they're heated. I am struggling to stay awake.
It's like you step off the bus, and you're like cold, and then you get on the bus, and it's like summer.
So I know it sounds really petty that, she had heated spaces, but I'm talking about like sweltering for this Georgia girl. Ugh. I could complain about that. Yeah, for sure.
So you're happy to be home?
Yes, it is much, temperature-wise, it is not as jarring here because I'm not going in and out. We use cars here, right? So it's not constant out, in, which has its pros and cons, but, that's for another story.
Absolutely. So we've, since you've been back, we've started decorating around the house. Picked up our Christmas tree from St. Anne down the street here in East Cobb.
And you better go get yours soon because it's going to close soon.
Yeah, I know St. Anne does a Christmas tree sale. They're at the corner of Roswell and Bishop Lake. The Lassiter band is doing their annual Christmas tree sale. They're located in the parking lot at Publix at Highland Plaza at Sandy Plains and Shallowford Road. So if you, and I think there's a tree lot somewhere down Johnson Ferry as well as you're going towards Lower Roswell. I'm not too familiar with that one, but
there's also another one that's long-standing. This one is Cobb Parkway, Whitewater parking lot, the big parking lot. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's been long-standing too.
So if you're looking for a fresh tree, you can get out and either support, local church or your band, or I'm not sure about the other one and what it supports, but we like to buy our Christmas trees as fundraisers instead of giving the money to Home Depot or Lowe's. So that's done. The kids are egging me on to get the lights up on the tree so they can get the ornaments up. I think they're very excited for that to start.
I think so.
But everything's starting to come together for the holidays so we can relax a little bit.
We do wait until after Thanksgiving, though, because we do have that month.
Usually, but I will tell you that the holiday cards went out before Thanksgiving this year. Because I was here at the office. They actually went out Wednesday.
Guess who did them and had them prepped, and what did you have to do?
I just put them in the mailbox.
Did I have them ready before I left for Japan?
And I'm very ADHD, so the fact that I even put them in the mailbox...
I'm shocked.
In advance?
I'm shocked.
Ooh, boy. Lucky me.
Yeah.
I feel like I deserve a gold star. Give me a participation trophy.
I was going to mention it because I've gotten a few people saying I got your card, and I was like, "Good job, Chris. You did send it out."
Awesome. Well, there we go.
I bet you were wondering when I was going to say something.
Yeah. I actually was. I was curious. I was like, I wonder if she noticed or she's going to ask me what day they went out on.
No, I already knew that they actually went out because I had friends contacting me.
My friends don't contact me. That's the difference. Yeah. All right. So while you were gone, made some headway on some projects around the house and learned a new skill. So if you followed me on Instagram, you saw that I got a welding helmet a couple of weeks ago. And with that welding helmet, I taught myself how to weld and repaired our bumper on the Land Cruiser. Because if you've ever driven up Highway 515, which is 575 turns into it. But when you get to this section on 515, the whole road is like slabs of concrete. So every 15 feet or so, you have this little break in the road. And when you're traveling with an old 4x4 with a big 35-inch tire on the back of it, that tire arm likes to swing and bounce up and down. And that was pulling a latch that holds the tire carrier shut away. It was like ripping the steel. So I had to go in and fix that. But now that I learned this skill, we've applied it to the Go-Kart project that we've been working on for the last year or so. And we removed the basket to make way for the new motor. We're cutting off the old engine mounts, and we're going to reposition and re-weld those on so that motor is in place exactly how it should be. And then we'll be able to finalize his go-kart, and he'll be up running around.
I did not realize how dangerous that flash of light was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you taught me that, your eyes can burn. And that is a delayed onset, and you won't feel it until later if you don't have protection. And then you have to cover your entire face and everything else, right?
I learned a lot. So because I've never done this before, I went out and found some training videos from welding schools on YouTube. I put myself through like a basic safety training 101. There's manuals that they put out, and I read manuals, and I just wanted to understand the process and make sure that, I wasn't going to electrocute myself or, die in the process. So that was good. Ended up learning the light that's emitted when you're welding, it's brighter than the sun. It's basically liquid plasma. Mm-hmm. And if you look directly at it, it'll burn your eyes. You'll basically get a sunburn in your eye. I don't remember what it's called. And it listening to some of the experiences for people who have experienced that before, it's like it delays the onset. Like 6-8 hours after it happens, it'll start itching, and then it feels like you're sunburned in your eyeballs. Ugh. So trying not to do that, but learn the new skill, applied it, having fun around the house, and now that that's done.
Other than fixing the go-kart, what can you do around the house with that?
I can,
as a homeowner,
fix stuff and build stuff.
Obviously, but like specific applications, like what the heck do you do with welding with a house? Because that's not common.
It's not common, but around the house, not so much. I think it applies more for like if I were to manufacture something, if we wanted to make ornate things, like I could fabricate hinges for gates, or I can build something like that, or I can repair stuff, right? So big thing is truck, get to repair the truck, gonna work on the go-kart. All the equipment costs me less than it would have cost me to just take the truck and have a shop do it. So, I mean, welding equipment is not too expensive. It was about $200 all in. And now I have that. And then
always learning.
For the future, I now have a pathway for rock sliders for Haiti eventually, because they have kits that you can just weld it all together yourself at home.
For those of y'all listening, he is obsessed with Land Cruisers. I
am a Land Cruiser fanatic.
I even brought a toy model of a FJ40 back from Japan for him.
She was virtually shopping with our son. So our son was here, and she was in a Tomica store. And Tomica is like Hot Wheels, but better. A level up. It's like they're 1-to-1, or it's like 1-to-32, but it's like an exact replica. They're very
sturdier.
Popular. They're all die cast. Yeah. And so Celine's in this Tomica store looking at thousands of cars, and she comes across an FJ40, and my son is like, "Oh, I want that." And I was like, "Just get two." I want that too.
I got two.
Because I'm a big child at heart.
It was bright and cheery yellow too.
It certainly was. Yeah. And it's on my little collection. I've got every 80. Well, I need a 60 and I need a 100 series.
Moving on from the Land Cruisers.
There we go.
Well, okay. So we do have some local news. I believe it was maybe 3 or 4, maybe even more recent than that we were talking about Dent Myers and his Wildman Civil War surplus store.
We were. Yeah, I want to say this was back around Halloween. We were talking about, some of the places to explore.
Yes.
We talked about downtown Kennesaw.
This is like an Atlas Obscura type of thing.
Yeah.
Wildman's, off the beaten path.
Wildman's has always been a Civil War surplus store, but it's always been controversial because they sell Confederate memorabilia. So they have Confederate flags in the windows. It's always been a point of contention for the community. And Dent Myers passed away over a year ago.
Yes, and we covered that, but recently, a judge has ordered full closure of the Kennesaw location because of a year-long legal battle over his estate.
Yeah.
The trustee was removed, and all financial records must be turned over because they are going to do forensic accounting on that. No timeline is there for reopening the store if it is to be reopened, and it's been a fixture in our area since about 1971. So, interesting story there.
We'll keep you updated as we find out more news.
Yeah.
We've got a new assistant deputy manager for the county in Cobb County now. Cobb CFO Bill Volckmann was named the new deputy county manager. So Cobb County Manager Jackie Morris, Dr. Jackie Morris, has appointed CFO Bill Volckmann to succeed Jimmy Giese, who retires this month after a 35-year career in government service. Now, I got a chance to meet Jimmy as part of the Cobb 101.
Yeah, I was going to say that I believe that you went to this. Cobb 101 is a get to know our government program that you have to apply for and get selected. And it is a very rigorous program to where you visit every part of our government, from senior services to the courts and everything. And we're talking like water too.
Yeah.
And, we've talked about that a little bit, but this is one of those that, we had a friend from college who started there, right? He started there?
Well, one of my fraternity brothers from a business fraternity in college he works with Bill.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Buddy Tessar. So Buddy's been working with Bill for as long as I can remember. I think he started with the county almost straight out of college. And the two of them work hand in hand. So whoever ends up being our new CFO, we don't know that yet. I think we're in good hands. There's going to be continuity having Buddy there, and he's finance major guy from Terry with me, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and Volckmann, he really has an impressive resume. He's got 20 years with Cobb County, multiple budget cycles that he's been through, so he knows that very well, and statewide accolades for the financial reporting, which is total opposite of what we just talked about with forensic accounting and Wildman's. Active involvement in preparation of the 2028 SPLOST renewal going before voters next November, so keep that in mind. So Giese, he's concluding a very respected career, and he's also being inducted into the GRPA Hall of Fame. So congratulations to both Bill and Jimmy for one retiring with high accolades and Bill going on to the next phase in your life as the CFO.
Yeah, so congratulations all around. One thing I will point out is that the role of deputy county manager is a unique position for Cobb County. So Cobb is very efficiently run. So this role is designed to basically fill in whatever needs to happen for any department between the Board of Commissioners and the county manager and and then all the departments within the county under that. So the deputy county manager, their job is basically to assist where needed, as needed, and knowing the operations like Bill does. I think he's going to be a great pick. So very excited to see that happen.
We have a new mayor in Roswell.
What?
Yeah. So Kurt Wilson was defeated in a runoff election. Mary Robichaux, she is the winner with 58% of the vote, so that was very decisive. And she ran on a platform that was transparency in city operation, growth that fits Roswell's character, because I feel like every place, is kind of creating their own identity recently.
It's necessity.
Yes. So furthering the agenda on that, attracting high-paying jobs in healthcare and light manufacturing, and a closer look at the proposed entertainment district, which is getting bigger and bigger in Roswell, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Governor Kemp had endorsed the incumbent, Kurt Wilson, but turnout swung heavily in favor of Robichaux in the single-race runoff.
That's interesting that she ran on growth that fits Roswell's character, because one of the things that I've noticed as I'm learning more about this is branding and marketing for your town. It's
something you don't think about, but really is necessary.
It is absolutely necessary, and that's one of the challenges that I think we have here in Marietta, because all the signs are different, right? There's different colors for different areas. Your parks and rec signs are different than your county building signs. There's no uniformity. There's no branding for it. It's kind of piecemealed over time. And I think that one of the things that we're going to need to work on over the next few decades is really bringing a sense of what Marietta is, and then applying that to city branding, county branding, and really taking that to stand out and showcase the places that we live for what they are. As Atlanta keeps growing, this is going to become more and more important, because if we don't do that over time, it's just going to feel like another section of Atlanta. there's not going to be anything that kind of differentiates or makes it feel uniquely Marietta.
I think what you're trying to say in layman's terms is that everyone needs their thing.
What I'm trying, yeah, absolutely. What everybody needs is their unique thing about what makes home. But it needs to be done in a branding way.
Yes, uniformity
over time.
Yes,
because this isn't just important to Roswell. Like, growth needs to reflect the character of the areas. We're seeing, zoning requirements changing where we are, or petitions for zoning changes that are for just so outside of the character for the area and some of these requests that I'm really hoping our commissioners and our city are able to kind of keep that character together.
Yeah, I think so. Moving on to Andy Gaines. So I think you should talk about that because you know Andy.
Yeah.
I do not.
So Andy Gaines is in Marietta, Kiwanis with me. He's a fellow Kiwanian, and he is the executive director of the Strand Theater in Marietta. Well, recently Andy was honored as he was honored with the Governor's Award for the Arts and Humanities for his work at the Strand.
Congratulations.
So huge congratulations to Andy. A couple of points about this is that the Strand made $5.4 million in economic impact in 2024. They support over 80 jobs in the community, and they're active in statewide arts leadership. So they do all sorts of things. And boy, haven't we learned this over the last year. Ever since joining Kiwanis and getting involved with a lot of the things that are happening in Marietta, we've learned so much about this Strand. We've been there 3 times so far this year with another set of tickets before the end of the year. We celebrated the 90th. We learned all about the history, which we've talked about on the show in the past. And we're just excited that this is getting the recognition that it deserves, because it really is a gem that we have here. Not a lot of people have a place like this that they can go.
It makes me want to put my hair up in a ponytail and wear a poodle skirt. You could go to the movies, right?
You could do that. Or I was talking to a guy the other day. He went to a cover band for the Grateful Dead at the Strand. So I mean, you're not wearing a poodle skirt to that. But yeah. So lots of great stuff that they're doing in the community.
T-shirt that's tie-dyed, maybe? Yeah, that's the attire, I think, right?
Yeah,
tie-dyed.
Grateful Dead.
Yeah, tie-dyed anything, I think.
So we're just very proud to have that in our own backyard and talk about what a wonderful gem it is, and just to be able to go there and enjoy a very inexpensive date night.
Well, let's talk about something gross.
So in the news this morning, I saw that Cobb County had a sewer overflow.
220 gallons.
And this occurred on November 29th. It was due to solids blockage near Lake Ford Pass Northeast. They completed the cleanup quickly with a lime treatment, and no fish were killed in the process that they observed.
What a way to go.
So I'm reading this article on the MDJ, and lo and behold, the very first question here is, why didn't we hear if this impacts our drinking water?
That's a good question.
It is a great question.
Yes, but you just went to the water treatment plant, so you know all about water.
Exactly. So I actually replied to that comment on the MDJ's article.
You did?
I did. So you'll see Real Chris Evans right there. By the way, that's my Instagram. So if you want to follow me, just put that into Instagram as well. The reason why an overflow at a sewage treatment plant doesn't impact your drinking water is because in Cobb County, our water is processed twice. So your sewage water does not directly go back into your drinking supply.
That's good.
Yeah. So the way the cycle works is it starts out in the Chattahoochee. The water treatment plant pulls the water from the Chattahoochee, then puts it through a very in-depth treatment process. Okay, they're going through and they're purifying that water, and then they are sending that into your tap. Now that's the first phase. Now after the water is used, when it comes out of the tap and goes out of your drain into the sewer, that water is pumped to a different treatment plant. That's a sewage treatment plant where all of the solids are removed And then they go through a process of cleaning, very much like a giant septic tank. If you understand how that works, it's bacteria. They manage the insects. They manage all of it. It's fascinating how they do this. And then after it's treated there at the sewage treatment plant, it's pumped back into the Chattahoochee. So you're not putting that sewage water directly back into that line of treatment. So when an overflow happens at a treatment plant for sewage, they're concerned about wildlife. They're concerned about, are we going to impact the environment, because that water is going back into the drinking supply. But you don't have to worry about it on the supply side because they're treating it again as it comes out of the hooch. So hope that answers your questions, maybe gives you a little insight as to how your water works in Cobb County.
So way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, now you know what that muddy water means to you.
All right, Alan Jackson. I love that shirt.
Oh, your shirt that says Hoochie Coochie on it?
Yeah, I was one of the people that bought the Instagram shirt where it's Alan Jackson's album cover and it says "Harder Than a Hoochie Coochie" on it. That was the 4th of July shirt earlier this summer.
And he's floating around on that little inner tube.
I know. I need to find another one and buy it because I got fish guts on it while we were fishing.
Oh.
That shirt's ruined.
Oh. Well, hey, if you want to contact Cobb County Water System to learn more about water or just listen to Chris, their maintenance division number is 770-419-6393.
I know enough to be dangerous, not enough to trust as an expert.
Of water.
We've got some other news. This is economic impact in Georgia, and that is Marvel is leaving.
Yeah, they're going to the UK, so they're not relocating within the US. They were one of the largest users of our tax incentives, but labor costs are going up as well as overhead. And I think one of the biggest things is that Disney does have a long-term lease at the UK studio. So for me, don't they have NHS and like healthcare there as well that's quote free?
Well,
I think that might have to do with it, labor costs, right? So
yeah,
labor overall, costs are it's big. About money. It's too expensive here. They're going to the UK where they already have a commitment, and they're, from what it sounds to me, they're trying to consolidate and save some money as well. So
it's a lot of that.
Understandable, but this is a 50% drop in Georgia's production of spending. Georgia production spending since 2022. So since COVID, we really have had a giant drop off. Local crew members, some made 150 to 200 grand annually during the boom that we had. They are now experiencing layoffs and a lot of uncertainty. And I've heard a lot of that too with people calling for real estate, and they're in the film industry. Same story that I've heard. And this is not new. I've heard it for the past maybe year and a half. It's been going on. It
has. Like, we're seeing cuts. I dug a little bit deeper into this just to kind of see what I can find. And I came across a Wall Street Journal article where Disney had already committed to cutting Marvel, like the superhero line. Like, they were finding that a lot of the fans had kind of lost the plots in areas. And
I was thinking the same. It's kind of overplayed. Yeah, the main things we've already done in Georgia. You know, now we're talking about spin-offs and not like Superman type, or I don't know if that's Marvel, but
that's DC. Sorry, I know these things.
I don't.
It's okay.
I have no idea. There's whatever, they wear tights, they look good.
I still love you. It's okay. You just need to know about Marvel because that's where Chris Evans is.
Whoever
we're
plays
Captain America
Superman
fans.
or Captain America, they can continue wearing spandex. All right?
There you go. So yeah, there's a lot happening there. The initial estimate is about 20,000 jobs leaving the state, and this is coming as, you know, a lot of people moved here from LA. You know, the LA film industry, you know, 10 years ago was kind of struggling and things were moving here. So there were people that moved from LA to Atlanta for the boom, and they were here for the boom, but now they're finding that it's kind of stalling out. So there's going to be a lot of folks that have, you know, recently been transplanted to Georgia that might not be here anymore.
Well, the thing is that, you know, we're talking about not within the U.S.
Yeah.
So this is a bigger shift versus California to Georgia versus Georgia to a different country.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have people who are laid off, but do they necessarily want to go to a different country when they've started families and have, connections here in the U.S., even though we're very far from California? It's not as far as a different country across an ocean.
I think, if Disney has been playing this, we're going to reduce Marvel anyway. There might be something that's coming to replace it where a lot of these jobs are going to shift. But right now, as far as the Marvel studios, those jobs are going away.
It is played out. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, they're not what they were. I mean, the heyday of Marvel is over. I mean, when they came out with the first few Avengers into kind of the Superman series with, Tom, what's his name?
You just told me that Superman was DC.
Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man. Did I say Superman? Sorry.
Yeah.
You put that in my head.
I was listening.
It just kind of not the same, right? I have no desire to go out and see the new ones. And I watched like all of them until like 2017.
Superwoman was good.
Yeah, that was. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Don't talk to. I don't discuss
but that's
Marvel.
DC.
I don't discuss Marvel or DC because if I discuss it, there's always someone around that's like really into it, and it's
I'm just
awkward.
confused by it. So.
All right.
Who knows?
So there's a ton happening. I think that, we spent a lot of time talking about just our community, what's changing in it, kind of what we've been doing for the holidays.
And then the 20,000 jobs that could be lost from this, production getting out of Georgia. Think about all the homes, people who bought.
Let's talk about the homes.
Yeah.
So we had a dramatic slowdown in November. So when I say dramatic, I only say dramatic when I see a steep drop off in our graphs.
So e-brakes.
E-brakes. It looks like somebody slammed on the brakes. And from October to November, our closings were cut in half. We went from like 6,000 to 3,000 closings, basically, for all of FMLS. Let's go through some breakdown by county. So I'm going to give you three numbers. I'm going to talk about the market as a whole for Atlanta. I'm going to give you Cobb, and I'm going to give you Cherokee. And we're going to go through a few different areas of statistics and just kind of talk about what each one means. So our median sales price, this is the kind of the sales price of all the homes, excluding the outliers. For all of FMLS, it's $399,000 for November. That's down a fraction of a percent. So it's pretty close to where it was this time last year. Cobb County is up almost 1%, 0.7. Cherokee County is down 8%.
Ooh.
So the whole market, $399,000. If you're in Cobb County, the median sales price is $426,000. And if you're in Cherokee County, the median sales price is $460,000.
And they have been plus the whole time until now.
We're starting to see some decline. Now, you got to factor this in, that this is the median sales price. There have been less large home sales recently than there have smaller ones. So that could be a factor there with Cherokee.
Also, whenever we see changing prices, we always see the metro as a nidus, almost a central location, and then the outside, it's like a gobstopper, right? You have layers like an onion.
Yeah.
And the outside layers are beat down first, and you see more of the changes there versus the core of that.
What we typically call those in commercial real estate is you have a primary market, a secondary market, and a tertiary market. In a tertiary market, it's primarily rural, residential. There's not much out there. Secondary market, you've got small towns. It's there's some industry, there's retail, there's shopping, but it's not heavy industry. Your primary job factors are probably going to be healthcare and education in those communities. And then you have your primary markets. That's your metro Atlanta. You go there, you're going to find industrial. You're going to find everything. And yes, when you see negative economic data, it hits the tertiary markets hardest first and they're the last to recover. And if you want an example of this, you can look at Dallas and Hiram and Paulding County all around the global financial crisis, because leading up to 2008, they were building new retail, new shopping centers, new housing. And when the crash hit, that market declined substantially. And it was one of the last markets to really rebound in our sales area. I mean, I'm sure there's worse markets and there are places that were hit hardest, but you could go to Dallas and you could buy a house for, you know, 60, 70,000 maybe a year after you could have done that in other markets, like where Marietta had taken its big hit, and now you're not getting those deep discounts. So that's important to know. As far as new listings, these are homes that are coming to the market in November. All of FMLS had about 7,400, a little over that, which is down 5.9% year over year. Cobb County had 759 new listings. We're down 9.2% year over year. And Cherokee County had 380 new listings. They're up 3% year over year.
That's consistent with the median sales price.
Yep. Now, I don't mind seeing less new listings coming on in November because our inventory is already high. You know, if you can wait until early next year and late winter, early spring, you're probably in a good place. Total homes for sale. FMLS has 27,427 homes advertised for sale. That's up 18.4% year over year. And every year we've been saying, like, we're up double digits. So this isn't like just 1 year. This is now we're up double digits over 2 years in November for homes for sale. Closed sales or pending sales. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Cobb is at 2,485 homes for sale. We're up 20%. Year over year. Cherokee is 1,307 homes for sale. They're up 31.6% year over year. Pending sales. All right, these are the homes that are going under contract. FMLS had 3,873 homes go pending in the month of November. That's down 23.4% year over year. So we're seeing more homes, less contracts. Cobb County had 472 go under contract in November. That's down 20.8% year over year. Cherokee County had 178 homes go under contract. That's down 38.2%.
Yep, they're getting battered compared to Cobb, and yeah.
Closed sales. So FMLS as a whole, our market had 4,109 closed sales. That's down 21.7% year over year. Cobb County had 531 homes for sale. We're down closings. We're down 16.8% year over year. Cherokee County had 251 closings in November, down 18.2%. The average days on the market, FMLS as a whole, is 66 days. Average days on the market. That's up 24.5% year over year. Cobb County is averaging 56 days on the market, up 16.7% year over year. Cherokee County also averaging 56 days on the market, up 16.7% year over year, same as Cobb there.
I want to point something out about this. So I think that we've had a lot of inquiries about people saying, hey, I want to sell. What's the state of the market? SOM. Not State of the Union. And this is one of the things that I think people don't realize until they talk to us, is that they still have expectations of a shorter marketing time, days on market.
Yeah.
And the consensus, I think, from multiple people calling us and talking to us is around 2 to 3 weeks. They think that they can get a contract, be done. That's not the case. Your expectation should be around 2 months to get a contract and then close within about a month after that. So manage expectations here. It has been this way for quite a while and creeping up as we speak during the getting closer to the holidays. Mm-hmm. That's normal, and that's what happens every year. But we've definitely talked to many people who don't have this knowledge of 2 months marketing, to get a solid contract. And then they start panicking because they don't know anything else, right? They don't know the numbers and
No, they don't.
No. And so just to manage expectations. Anyways, that was my 2 cents from that one.
Oh, great. Great 2 cents. I love it. The one of the things that I want to get into, well, first off, let's talk inventory. So I was looking into this the other day a little bit more in depth on inventory. FMLS right now is at 4.7 months. Again, the way that we measure inventory is if it's an absorption number. So if we stop taking on new listings today, how many months will it take us to sell every home that's available on the MLS? So FMLS as a whole is 4.7 months right now. That is 23.7% higher year over year. Cobb is at 3.5 months at 25% increase year over year. Cherokee is at 4.2 months, which is a 44.8% increase year over year. So a couple of things I want to talk about. First off, the inventory levels that we're experiencing for November are levels that we have not experienced since the global financial crisis. To put this in perspective, our data goes back as far as 2012. So January of 2012, we had an inventory of 6 months supply. Throughout that year, it was a steady decrease because that was kind of our recovery year, our big recovery year where a lot of prices started increasing and homes were selling off the market. With that transition, the November in 2012 was 4.1 months supply. In 2013, that inventory was around 4.3 months supply, and in 2014, that inventory was around 4.5 months supply. Since then, we have not had a November with 4 months or more of inventory at this time of year. So I'm pointing this out because normally when we see that level of inventory, if we get there, it has happened in like a January, February, where there's not a lot of homes on the market. It's our bottom of the market.
We're ahead of schedule.
So we're way ahead of schedule. It's something that we don't usually see. And then we saw a significant drop off. So our closings in October were in the 6,000 range. We're at 3,800 for November. That cliff that we dropped off is an outlier. We usually see a smaller margin of decline month to month. So with that level of closings dropping off, we're just not seeing a lot of movement in the market. Prices are still holding, which tells us that the desire is there, the demand is there. We have a lot of things that are, people are saying are good ideas, like a 50-year mortgage. That's awful. You might as well just have a 500-year mortgage. Keep it in your family and pass down the debt. But at the same time, we're in a tough economic spot. There's a lot of people that have uncertainty, but people still need to move, right? And we've got some great listings. They're going under contract. The play is value across the board. And to kind of get that in perspective, I want you to know that as a seller, you're going to be giving some concessions. And as a buyer, you're probably going to be negotiating some concessions that you're going to get out of that contract when you're negotiating today. Here's where the opportunity is for buyers. The sales price to original list price ratio right now is 94.8% for FMLS, meaning a buyer is negotiating 5.2% off of the original list price from where a home gets to market. Now that's original list price, so it could factor in sellers making price reductions before it goes under contract as well. But as FMLS as a whole, 94.8% of original list price. Cobb County is at 96% of original list price. Cherokee County also at 96%.
One thing here, though, I do believe that the sale to original list price is only the purchase price.
Yes, it doesn't factor in closing costs or things like that.
Yeah, so there are a lot of other variables too, right? So when you were talking about concessions, you could, what is your net to sell. So if you get your septic pumped, if you put on a new roof, or if you repair
Bought
a
that
water
home
heater.
warranty.
Yeah, so all that combines, right? Yeah. So this isn't the full picture that you're seeing either. In personal experience, I am seeing concessions given, but people are meeting together and not necessarily letting a buyer take full advantage of them if you're a seller, or taking it goes both ways. So I still see people negotiating, still people saying, hey, this is the best I can do. I can't afford to give you more than this. So don't think that this is a shopping spree, where you get everything and the bells and whistles. But also at the same time, you do have to give some bells and whistles too, if you're on the seller side.
I think so. At 4.7 months supply as a whole, we're approaching a buyer's market. So our market has been pretty much a seller's market for the last decade, which is a very long run. We've had some periods of time where the inventory was in the 3 to high 3 month supply, but not much. We actually in 2022 and 23, our inventory in places was sometimes less than 1 month supply, which was an extreme seller's market. Now, this 4.7 number, this is an average of the whole market. So you do have some neighborhoods where the supply is 6 or 6+ months. It's also depending upon the style of home. This is combined, detached, and attached housing. If I were to break this out into detached and attached, our detached numbers are going to be slightly lower. Our attached housing numbers are going to be significantly higher. Your days on market are going to be longer. Your sales price is going to be lower. Your concessions are going to be lower.
Yeah. It's just, do you want to share a wall or not?
Yes.
Do you want higher HOA costs or not, right, in general?
So the data that we're going through, we're doing this as a generality. One, we want you to understand the health of our market. 2, we want you to understand where the opportunities are. And then we've got a few things that have come about in the last couple of days. One is on the lending side. We'll try and get Rob here next week, but the conventional maximum loan amount for a conventional loan increased. It's like in the $800,000 range now. I don't know the exact amount.
What was it?
I don't know, but jumbos used to start at like $750 and then like $779. So now it's like eight something. So you can buy a house up to like $800 and something thousand with only 3% down.
That's insane.
This used to be jumbo territory where you'd have to put a significally larger down payment.
Jumbo used to start at like $550 or $600.
It's there.
Yeah.
But you got to ask yourself, do I want to buy a house that expensive and take all of it out in debt because I'm making that payment at that higher interest rate every month? So yeah, I mean, of course they want to increase it. They want to give more opportunities for loans. But you'll find that in the industry, the maximum loan sizes, that changes all the time. When I started, I think the maximum FHA loan size was like $390,000 or something like that.
That sounds about right. And that was pretty generous back then too.
And it's in the 7s now, or maybe even higher now that conventional just increased their limits. I don't know where FHA's max limit is. But it's just important to follow this stuff because you kind of understand how the money moves and where your opportunities are. But generally speaking, if you've got to sell right now, it's a value play, right? You put if your home is worth between $550,000 and $575,000, I'm absolutely listing at $550,000 all day, every day. I'm looking at the competition. I'm seeing how many similar homes are like yours in the area. And conversely, if there's nothing like your home, we're going to list towards the high end of that, because if it's a unique property and there's buyers that are waiting for something like that, there's not much competition. So it's understanding your market. In some neighborhoods, you're going to have that 6+ month supply. In some neighborhoods, you're going to have under a 1 month supply.
Yeah.
It's all dependent upon buyer demand. And this is why it's important to talk to a local pro who understands the market. If you're interested in full service or buyer representation, give me a call, 678-694-7937. You can send me an email, broker@selectrealty.com, SELLECT realty.com, because we know how to sell. And if you're interested in any of the DIY HOI stuff to help you sell your home and reduce those selling costs, then we can talk Simply List, which is simplylistatlanta.com. And you can go there and sell your home for a fraction of the
I
commission.
just thought of a terrible, terrible slogan. We know how to sell, not spell.
Well, your parents came up with the name.
We do. I have a doctorate. It's fine. I know how to spell.
And we have ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, okay. There's ChatGPT
Everybody has
too.
that now. Everybody knows how to spell. Didn't you know that? When everybody's special, no one is. So I think the takeaway here is that we're sliding back into a buyer's leaning market in most areas. In some areas it's not for first time in more than a decade. It's been a long time. So we haven't seen these numbers. And our sales numbers are on par with like 1995 levels nationally, but we're dealing with a 2025 population. So it's very extreme. And our average home buyers, our average first-time home buyer age is now 40 years old, y'all.
That is insane. And, you know, one of the things that comes to mind when you're talking about this, especially attached, is that people see a townhome, even if it's fee simple, right? So fee simple is a home that, think about it, two homes, regular homes, squash them together, make them share a wall, but it still acts like two separate homes, right? That's not a condominium. That's a fee simple home. So the story that I get all the time is, oh, I can afford it. And then they realize that HOA cost that is $300 a month for the amenities that are all around there disqualifies them from purchasing that home. So watch out for that.
Yeah, if you're pre-qualified to spend $3,000 a month on your housing, and you go
factor it in.
Yeah, if you're buying a condo, you can actually afford to spend $2,500 a month on your housing because you get a $500 a month HOA fee. Mm-hmm. And that goes towards, your common area maintenance, the building, amenities, trash, water, sometimes utilities. It depends on the community. But if you're buying a single family home, you can take that $3,000 a month that you qualify for and put it 100% into the home. So
unless they have a really strict HOA with high fee costs.
A lot of people choose to go that route because in times of economic uncertainty, when you own the land, your home is worth more. If you don't own the land, there's more risk in the property. For instance, what happens if the condominium association falters? And the units start getting dilapidated due to mismanagement, or what happens if all the residents lose their job and there's no funding for the HOA. And that actually happened in a lot of communities in the global financial crisis. Mm-hmm. The HOAs went defunct because the people who owned the units weren't able to pay. And it wasn't until the units got sold that the HOAs were able to recoup those funds. So they went through a pretty battered 5 years or so while they recovered. Mm-hmm. As we continue to do this, we hope that you enjoyed the show. We want you to like and subscribe, share this with your folks. We really appreciate it. It helps get the word out there. And let us know if there's any topics that you want us to cover.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.